The few key points of alignment that we really want to think about as we go through our workout today, and really any workout that'll serve you really well, is if we start at our head, the crown of the head is always reaching and stretching upwards. So for example, if I'm sitting here, my hips are pressed and glued down into the floor like they're stuck in cement, and then my spine is stretching up through the crown of my head to the sky. So I have that nice long, lean spine. I can take nice, deep Pilates breaths, and I'm not kind of crunched or arched over. The next thing is our neck, because a lot of us, especially for us ladies, love to tense up the neck when we do things like chest lifts or teasers, any kind of like abdominal work. These neck muscles want to help too. So today we're just going to give them a little vacation. They're going to take a break and be nice and relaxed so our core can take on most of the workload. If we go down to our shoulders, the shoulders tend to want to roll forward and then up. So really just making sure the shoulders are rolled down and back. My shoulder blades are nice and flat against my rib cage. And that way I have, again, this nice length between my neck and my shoulder, and I'm in that good postural alignment. If we go down a little bit farther to our tummy, our core muscles are on, meaning I'm just gently pulling my belly button towards my spine to really get those abdominal muscles engaged and active this morning. So ideally, they're going to be active for the next 30 minutes throughout our entire workout, but don't worry, I'm here to remind you of that, because sometimes we get focused on other things and those abs kind of kick off a little bit. But don't worry, that's why I'm here. The final thing is our hips, and this is a real stickler that I'll be kind of picky on, especially if you have low back pain, because I want these hips in neutral, which is just nice and flat up and down. If for any reason we're doing, say, a chest lift, or doing any kind of, say, leg lowers and lifts, and it's making your low back grumpy, just ask yourself, A, am I in neutral? And if you are in neutral, go ahead and just give me a slight imprint. So just tuck that tailbone under just a little bit. I'm really overly exaggerating it here, but just so you can kind of see what that looks like. And that's just going to overprotect our low back, especially since I can't see you today and I can't kind of help monitor form. Don't worry, once we're back in the classroom and I can see what's going on, I can give you specific detailed examples of what we're doing and how to correct it, and also some modifications. But for today, we'll just take the easy way of better safe than sorry. So again, just making sure those hips are in neutral. A really common thing is the hips want to anteriorly tilt, and then that kind of sway backs our spine forward, and that's when our back starts to get really grumpy. So we'll just kind of be aware of that today, because we do have some abdominal things and some leg lifts in our future. But that's really kind of all the housekeeping I have for this morning, especially if, again, maybe it's our first virtual class. So go on you for taking that plunge. I know it's a weird kind of format being virtual as opposed to in the studio. I definitely can't wait to show you some reformer exercises. I've been left to my own devices for too long, so you'll have plenty of fun and interesting classes once I get to see you again in person. Hooray for me and for my regulars. Don't worry, we'll have lots of fun. So if more people had reformers, I'm happy to do reformer classes. I just wasn't sure how many of you had one of these bad boys sitting, in a spare bedroom of your house. So hopefully it's nice and sunny where you are. It's very sunny here in Kirkland and it looks wonderful. So you might see some little shadows and such on the floor or on me as the sun kind of passes through the trees behind me. But we're going to start on our mat today. I'm not using a mat. I don't really like mats. For those of you who've taken my classes a while, you know that mats aren't really my jam. If you need to, take one last sip of coffee, and then otherwise we'll just dive into our day. Be sure to set this somewhere out of the way. We definitely don't want any last minute coffee catastrophes. So we're going to get nice and comfy on the mat. Again, this is going to be a zero prop day, but I think next week we'll start incorporating some props in. Just really easy things like maybe soup cans, a bottle of wine, something you might have laying around in your house. So I'm going to sit with my legs forward, and I want to dorsiflex my toes to where my feet are pointed up to the sky. I myself am going to sit nice and tall. My arms are going to come up overhead, and as I exhale, I'm going to round my spine and dive forward. Stretch, 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 stretching as far forward as I can go. My shoulders are still down and back in the socket, so I'm not rounding the spine, but I'm still reaching. And then as I inhale, I'm going to stack my spinal column one at a time until I'm back up to sitting nice and tall, stretching through the crown of my head like we talked about earlier. And then exhale, rounding and stretching and reaching forward. And then stacking that spine up one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful. Now we've kind of gotten that spine warmed up a little bit. I'm going to open my legs. If you have a yoga mat, maybe just a little wider than your yoga mat or wider than hips or shoulder length. For those of you who are extra bendy, go ahead and go as wide as you want for this one. Again, I'm going to sit up tall, arms forward, nice deep inhale, exhale. Now stretch forward as far as you can. Ideally, try to bring forehead to floor. And don't worry if you're like me, you're like, no, it's not happening. That's fine. But I'm just trying to stretch the back of the legs and my inside of my adductors. And I'm going to come all the way back up. And again, just melting forward. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Ideally, you can dorsiflex the feet. If that doesn't feel good, plantar flex. Just do whatever feels good to help you get the most out of this stretch forward. The next time I come all the way up, I'm going to pick a side. For me, I'm going to pick my left. And now when I waterfall forward, I'm waterfalling as far down to this leg as possible. Again, trying to get some sort of forehead to me. I like to look at you just for the audio. I'm always concerned you guys can't hear me. We're just going to hang out here and take some nice deep inhales, deep exhales, just kind of warming up, stretching out our body before we get into our day. And then stack my spine up one vertebrae at a time, and then go to the other side. So for me, again, this is my right as I go all the way down. And you might start to realize, especially going from one side to the other, I'm like, oh, one side's a little tighter than the other. Maybe you can't go down as far like I can. I've got probably, I don't know, what is that, 2 inches or something? That's harder to get down on this side than the other. And that's okay. That's why we practice Pilates. That's why we're here. We're just going to take some nice deep inhales. Deep exhales. Come back up. We're going to go to the left one more time, pardon me. So come all the way down. And then notice, now that we've gotten some stretching, we're warming up the body, getting that blood flow going. Does this feel easier? Is this just about the same? What are we noticing in the body as we start to loosen it up and warm it up for our day? Beautiful. We're going to come all the way up. We're going to come back to the right for a final time. And again, just ask yourself, how does this feel? What am I noticing in my body as I come down? You should be able to go a little farther, even if it's just a smidge, little bit. Perfect. I'm going to come back up, and then one final time, I'm going to go to the center, and hopefully you're like, oh my gosh, I can go farther. Again, might just be a little tiny bit, but it's still progress. So just stretch, 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 stretch. Nice deep inhales. Deep exhales. I always forget to dorsiflex the feet. If you're like me, that's fine. We're all in this together. It's first thing in the morning. I'm going to stack my spine all the way up. Bring these legs together. Now, my right foot is going to go on the outside of my left knee. So if I'm sitting at an angle, right foot is on the outside of the left knee. So it's kind of crisscrossing in front of my body. My left elbow is going to press on the outside of the right knee. My right hand is going to rotate behind me, and I'm actively pushing this left elbow into my right knee as I turn. Both of my sits bones are still glued down into the floor or the mat. My gaze is following the way I'm looking and the way I'm rotating, and I'm getting this nice stretch through the body. This hand is really just kind of there to make sure I don't fall over, but you can put a little body weight into it if you need to. Beautiful. And now I'm going to do the opposite side. So my left leg is going to come up, left foot on the outside of the right knee, right elbow outside of left knee. And again, I'm just rotating and pressing as I go the other way. My gaze is still following the way that I'm rotating and just getting that nice twist and rotation of our spine. Nice deep inhales, deep exhales. And again, you'll probably start to notice, oh, one side felt a lot easier than the other. That's okay. That's why we're here. Just practicing these things. Beautiful. We'll hang out here for just a second longer. Come back to center. Again, we're going to do one more time. So again, right leg, right foot, opposite side of left knee, left elbow, right knee, and then rotate. Get that lovely rotation. And every time you exhale, try to rotate a little more. So inhale is stretching up to the sky. Exhale is deepening that rotation. Perfect. Come back to center. Swap it around. Now my left leg, outside of right knee, right elbow, left knee, and again, rotate. And just relaxing. Nice inhales to stretch the spine up. Exhales to deepen that rotation. Hips are still neutral, so that way we're not feeling any discomfort in that low back as I continue to rotate. Perfect. Nice deep inhales, deep exhales, and then come back to center. Now from here, everybody's favorite part of the day, we get to lay down. So I'm going to lay on down. Again, making sure my hips are in neutral or that imprint that we talked about earlier. My left leg is just going to be flat on the ground, just kind of glued into cement on the floor. And my right leg, as I inhale, is going to lift up to my body's 90. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. You can either, if you need a break, lower it all the way down to the floor, or if you'd like, lower it down to a hover and then come back up. So we're just kind of stretching and warming up the body. And don't worry if your lifts and lowers look different than mine. So everybody's body is a little bit different. We all have different needs. We're built differently. So don't worry. Perfect. Nice deep inhales. Deep exhales. Perfect. We're just going to do 3 more. So just lift up, 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 up. Down, 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 down. Up, 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 up. Down, 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 down. Last one, up, down. And now, right leg goes on the ground. Glue it into cement. Hips are still neutral. How's that core? Is it on? And then my left leg, again, inhale, lift up, 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 up. And exhale, down, down, down. Again, it can either go to a hover or all the way down. Just depends on what feels best for you and your body. And this might also be the part of the morning where you start to realize, oh, one leg has a little bit different range of motion than the other. And that's okay. Again, we have dominant, non-dominant, and those are going to affect how the body moves. The main thing is just making sure those hips are staying in neutral while we start to warm up the body. Perfect. Nice deep inhales, deep exhales. Let's do 3 more. So this is 3, and then 2, and then 1. Set those legs down, set that off to the side, and we're going to do some crisscrosses or bicycles, depending on the verbiage that you learned them as. So hands are going to either brace behind the neck or behind the ears. I like them behind the ears because just in case you want to tug, you're not tugging on the neck. But again, you know your body better than I do, especially since I can't see who's in class today. So do what you need to. So I'm going to start, and as I bring my right knee into tabletop, I'm using my abdominals to scoop and twist to bring this elbow to this knee and then come back down. You can either, again, hover the leg or set it down, whatever feels best for you and your body. Perfect. And again, neck is relaxed like we talked about earlier before class. And I really just want to scoop and use those abdominals to get me up and over. Perfect. Beautiful. Nice deep inhales, deep exhales. Give me 1 more on this side, 1 more on the other side, and then we'll be done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, now, super tricky part. Keep these hips in neutral, glue them down into the floor. Right leg comes back up. Now my right leg is going to come over and cross to my left and then open out to the side while the hips still stay still. So my hips aren't moving as I do this. I'm gluing them down into cement. And if you need to, you can put your hands on your hips. No one said you can't. Yeah, perfect. I'm sure you've seen me do this a lot in class. Thumbs on lower ribs, fingertips on hips, and just that way I can feel if anything's moving around in the body. So we're just kind of making windshield wipers. And it's okay if your windshield wipers aren't very big, aren't very small. That's fine. That's why we're here. Give me 2 more. Perfect. Last one. Beautiful. And then again, I'm going to set my right leg down, glue it into cement, kind of reposition this body. Checking our shoulders so they roll down and back. Left leg comes up. And again, it's going to come over the right and then open out to the side. I'm using outer and inner thigh on this. So outer thigh is opening that leg out. Inner thigh is bringing it back up and over. Again, the hips aren't moving while I do this. My leg is nice and steady. Beautiful. We're just going to do 3 more. How's that sound? It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So 3, 2, and then our last one. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to set this leg down. I'm going to bend my knees. They can be as close or as far as you want, whatever feels good for you and your body. Shoulders are down and back. Tuck my chin slightly. Arms are long, or again, if you need to, behind the neck to support. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, chest lift up. And then down. So exhale, chest lift up, really getting into those abdominals and relaxing that neck as much as humanly possible. I'm sure you've heard me say it a bazillion times now, but imagine someone put little strings around your sports bra, or for the gentlemen in the room, around your pectorals, and you're being lifted up from your chest and not your neck. That's going to help relax the neck a little bit, because sometimes it's harder to think about engaging and lifting with these abdominals. So using that imagery of the strings lifting you up and down makes it a little easier. 2 more. Perfect. And then our last one. And then down. If you need to, shake it out for a second. Now we're going to do toe taps, which I love, but they're super hard to do. So 1 leg at a time, bring these legs into tabletop. Let's see if I can rotate so you can see what I'm doing here. So my legs are in tabletop. And what I normally see when I tell people to do tabletops is this. And this is fun, but it doesn't really do anything. So when my legs are in tabletop, I'm gluing this knee into cement, and the whole leg goes down and then back up. And then the other leg goes down and back up. So I'm pushing that foot away from me as I go down. And again, you don't have to put your foot all the way to the ground. If that feels bad on your hip flexors, the low back's getting a little grumpy, just go as far as you can and then back to tabletop. It doesn't have to be all the way down. We'll work with your body's range of motion, especially since I can't see our bodies today. So again, just making sure that these knees are glued into cement as we lower. So these are our lower abs that we're starting to feel. As if you weren't already. But nice deep inhales, deep exhales. Core has to be on to do this. Otherwise, we're just going to see all kinds of funky things on the other side of that camera. Beautiful. So give me 1 more on either side. 1 more on this side. 1 more on the other side. And then if you need to, hug those knees to your chest. Rock it side to side. Perfect. All right. So now you can sit up. And this is a little tricky to get into, so I'm going to show you a lot of different variations here. So again, I'm sitting up tall. I'm reaching through the crown of my head. Shoulders are down and back. My low back is in neutral. Hips are in neutral. And I'm going to just rock backwards onto my hips to where my legs are in this kind of tabletop-y position. Now, if your hip flexors, quads, or something is squawking at you and you're like, ooh, I can't maintain this, put those fingers behind you, just lightly on the ground. Try not to just relax down on them, because I want our core to be on for this. So if I'm here, I'm just going to exhale, press those legs out, inhale in. My core is doing this for me. You don't need to put the arms down if you don't want to. It's just a safety net for you. So if it feels like you need it, go for it. Perfect. So I press out, and in. Now, hopefully your quads are confused of, hey, what are we doing? I thought she said abs. Aha, it's Pilates, total body fitness. Shoulders are still down and back. 2 more. 1 more. And then if you need to, come on down. Whew. Your spine's been straight for a while, so if you need to round that back or do any kind of little stretching, that's fine. Don't worry, we just have 1 more of those bad boys, and we're going to mix it up a bit. Now, if that was as hard as we wanted to go on that last one, stay there and just press the legs in and out. Otherwise, when my legs are straight, again, hands here if you need it, press the legs out, crisscross applesauce, bring them in. Press the legs out, crisscross applesauce, bring them in. 4 more, crisscross applesauce. 3 more, crisscross applesauce. 2 more, crisscross applesauce. Last one. And then, again, we can come forward, round it out. If you need to, shake it side to side. And in fact, let's go ahead and come all the way over onto hands and knees. You know what time it is. Give me some cat-cows. I'm going to arch my spine up and then lower it down. Arch my spine up, lower it down. As always, if this doesn't feel good for you in your body, shake those hips side to side, sink into a child's pose. Do whatever stretch feels good for you in your body. This is your time to just stretch out your body, get rid of any tension you might be feeling, because we're going to plank town. So shake yourself out. Make sure you don't flash the camera. And then we're going to do a knee hover. So I'm in my quadruped. I've curled my toes under onto the mat. I'm going to take a nice deep inhale. And as I exhale, press into the toes and lift the knees. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just a little hover is fine. And we're just going to hang out here for a count of 4. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Set those knees down. If you need to, sink into a child's pose. Stretch your shoulders out. Do whatever you need to do. As always, if you need to, you can plank on your forearms. So for this next one, when I'm in my quadruped, I'm going to inhale, exhale, knee hover up, right leg back, left leg back. Congratulations, we're now in a plank. Right leg in, left leg in. Knee hover. We've done these before. You know what's up. Perfect. So we're just walking out and back in. And we're just going to do 2 more. How does that sound? So 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. And come on down. See, not bad, right? Again, you can do all of these on your forearms if you need to. All right, so for this next one, we're going to start moving the upper body. So if planks aren't really your jam and you're not really feeling it this morning, you can always come down onto your knees. So that's okay. That's still an option. Just make sure that the hips are in neutral and the core is engaged. So if I'm in my plank, and I'm going to do this on my knees just so you can see what I'm talking about. Come into my plank, and then my hands are just going to give me little baby steps to the side and back. Now, normally we would do this between reformers. We don't have reformers today. So if you just want to go from edge to edge of your yoga mat, that's fine. Now, give me 1 more to the left, back to center, and then down. See, that wasn't so bad. Now, because we did the arms, we have to do the feet, but I'll give you a second. I know planks are probably only my favorite thing in the whole wide world, but that's okay. Now, for this next one, you can try it on your knees, but I think it might make your knees grumpy. So if you need to, be on your forearms while those feet walk side to side. So, nice deep inhale, exhale, plank on up, and walk with little tiny baby steps, oops, there's a wall there, as far as you can to either side, keeping the upper body stationary. Little tiny baby steps, neutral hips, core is engaged. Perfect. We're just going to go to one side. So to the right one last time, to the left one last time. Oh heck, back to center, and then down. And let's stretch it out in a child's pose. Nice deep inhales, deep exhales. Perfect. Now, since we're basically in a child's pose, I want you to come onto your forearms and slide those legs back. So now we're down on our tummy. Perfect. As always, when we're on our tummy, Bony landmarks of the hips push down into the floor to maintain neutral. If neutral still bothers your back, then go into an imprint. Really overprotect rather than underprotect. Core is on. I'm going to start with my hands and forearms on the mat or on the floor. Forehead down. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, Sphinx up. And then down. And if it feels better for you, inhale up. Get that lovely stretch through the spine, through the crown of the head. Exhale down. Eventually, when we're back in the classroom, I'll start to get pickier about breath. But for right now, I just want you to breathe while we do this. You tell me it's important. So, as I'm coming up to my body's range of motion and then back down. So I don't want you to come up so high that you start to feel that low back getting grumpy. Up, up, up. Down, down, down. Last one. Up, up, up. Down, down, down. Now we're going to try for a swan here. So if I move my hands a little bit farther back, I'm going to imagine that I have a little marble between my nose and the floor. Silly, but it works. Now, as I slowly start to roll and lift my head, I'm imagining that I'm rolling this marble up. And then after a certain point, my upper body has to help to push me up so I can continue rolling my imaginary marble. And then as I come all the way down, I'm slowly rolling my marble back down onto the floor. So if you want, we can inhale while we roll that marble up, and then push up, 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 up. Again, not until we feel pain. So if you can't come up that high, that's fine. Just come to your body's range of motion. And I like to go slow so I can really focus on what's happening in my body. Beautiful. Last one. So we come up, 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 up. And then down, down, down. Hips are neutral, protecting that low back. Now, if you want, bring those hands forward and you can rest your forehead on your hands. I'm not going to do that because I'm again afraid that you can't hear me. So, resting the head, hips are in neutral. I'm going to squeeze my booty and stretch my toes out behind me. The legs are naturally going to lift off the ground a little bit because those legs are nice and engaged. From here, I'm just going to do little swimmers with the legs. Hips are still in neutral. And again, I'm not lifting so high that I feel discomfort or pain in the low back. Now, if this is as far as you want to go, stay here. If you want a little bit more out of this, then I want you to hold, elbows nice and wide, shoulders down and back, hands against forehead, hold the upper body up while we do our swimmers with the legs. And we're just going to do 6 more. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Perfect. Now from here, push back into child's pose, or again, another stretch of your choice. And then we're going to come up into quadruped again. Don't worry, no more planks. We're done with that for our day. But now, hands under shoulders, knees under our hips, and start with that right leg. Lift the right leg. Exhale, press straight back like I'm pressing through cement or honey, molasses, something that's got some resistance to it, and bring it back in. Both of the bony landmarks of my hips are pointed forward. My shoulders are down and back. Core is engaged. Oh my goodness. So many things in so little time. All right. So now, press that leg back. Give me some lifts and lowers. These are always hard because we want to twist the hips or lift so high that we dump into that low back. So neutral hips, core is engaged. Bony landmarks of the hips point straight down. 3 more. Shoot. Maybe we'll get to the rest of this another day. Clearly, I was inspired by today's class. So the next time my leg comes out, I'm going to open it. Ooh. Open out to the side and back in. Out and in. Out and in. We're just going to do 3 more because we're really, really running out of time. Whoops. Perfect. And then after my last one, come on down. Give your wrists a break. So we're gonna roll onto our back. Feet down, arms to our side. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, hinging bridge up and then down. Again, if you prefer articulating bridges, that's fine. Go ahead and do that now. Again, as I told you before, it really bothers my low back, so I tend to not do the articulating bridges. Perfect. 2 more. Beautiful. After my last one, stretch those legs out. Bring those arms overhead. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, start to roll up. 1 vertebrae at a time. Here, I'll change so you can see what I'm doing. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Stack my spine up, kind of like we did earlier in class. Bring those arms overhead and give me pulses. So my shoulders are down and back in the socket, and I'm pulsing the arms. So the arms are active, the shoulders are on. I can feel my serratus and feel my back muscles. And then melt down 1 vertebrae at a time. Arms overhead. And then bring those hands by your hips, bend the knees. We're going to bridge up, 2 outward pulses of the knees, hinge down. Hinge up, 2 outward pulses of the knees, getting into outer booty, outer thighs, and then down. And again, if you would like to articulate, that's fine. Go for it. Out, out, and down. 1 more. Out, out, and down. Press those legs out. Bring those arms overhead. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, slow, slow, slow. Come up, 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 up. Diving forward. Reach, 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 reach. Stack the spine up. Arms overhead. Pulse, 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 pulse. 6 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we have the other side to do. I know we're kind of just crash coursing through this, but I can't leave you lopsided. So, hands and knees. Now we're doing left leg. Inhale, exhale, press that leg straight back, and then bring it on in. Pressing straight back, like I'm pressing through honey, molasses, something sticky. Perfect, and bring it in. Beautiful. 2 more. Excellent, because I definitely want to be respectful of your Saturday. Maybe you have big plans today of staying inside bird watching, After my last one, again, these lifts and lowers, lifts and lowers. Perfect. I've been seeing a lot of jokes on Facebook recently of Easter's coming up and all the places people are going to hide Easter eggs, and it's basically just a diagram of their apartment with eggs under the couch, eggs in the the coffee pot or whatever, just to try to keep it lighthearted. 2 more. 1 more. Again, don't kick your reformer. Open that leg out to the side and bring it in. Bony landmarks of the hip are pointed straight down. My shoulders are down and back. Core is on. Hips in neutral. Beautiful. We're just going to do 3 more. So 3, 2, last one. And then give me a few more cat-cows. Stretch that spine out a little bit. If you need to, again, wiggle it side to side. Perfect. Whatever feels good for you and your body today. And again, you're more than welcome to do a child's pose, or if haven't mentioned something that sounds good for you, feel free to do that now. Just stretch that body out. And then very carefully, I'm going to walk my hands back towards my knees, curl the toes under, bloop, come back onto my heels, pushing through the heels, come up to standing. Oh no, you can't see my head. Well, that's okay. I'm going to bring my arms up overhead, nice deep inhale. Exhale, roll forward like you're rolling over an imaginary beach ball, because you know what time it is. Put your hands down as far as they can to the ground. You can shake your head yes, shake your head no, shake your arms, shake your shoulders, shake your booty, shake, 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 shake. Nice deep inhale, exhale, articulate up, 1 vertebrae at a time. And then of course, once we're back to standing, we did it! Congratulations and happy Saturday, everyone. You guys did amazing.